YouTube. I know, I've been away for a few weeks. I've had Christmas, New Year, friends come over twice. It's been a lot. I needed some time off. I needed some time from my massive year to just. So I spent Christmas Eve to the 6th off work, off coaching, and just doing absolutely nothing. And it was absolutely super. Not that super at the time off work, because every single day I thought about work and thought about going back to work earlier, but the time to actually slow down, let my body just chill the fuck out, and just do nothing. Because every single day, and as you'll see in this video when I go through my routine and my calendar, every single video, every single day is just non-stop, Monday to Friday and Sunday, non-stop, every single week. So it's good to have that rest, and it's definitely one of the goals for 2025, which I put in 1 week off every quarter. So it's like 1 week off every end of third month, or between just a quarter, just have a week off, and I think that'll work really well, because last year that didn't happen and time off wasn't planned in. So yeah, it's Saturday today, and usually I'm on my day off, but I'm booking one-to-one calls with all my guys on the team to set them up for 2025. And obviously, with being in the UK and Dubai, the time slots in the evenings get booked up very quickly. So weekend, just one of those things you've got to do as a business owner. You've got to suck it up. And I know after this weekend, there's no more calls on Saturday. It is a one-off, and we'll be back to Saturdays off. But for today, we have got to record this. We've got to do a little bit of admin bits, and then we've got 5 calls back to back, and then we'll hit a training session after that. So in the midst of all this, what am I on about in this video? I'm going to be taking you through how I structure my routine, how I structure my week, because I've got so many things to do across a week. And one of the things I've had to teach myself as running my own business and working for myself is that I have to build my own routine, and I have to stay disciplined to that routine, or else the work doesn't get done. So the business doesn't work. So it's all on me. Now I've fine-tuned my routine over the years. Like, I've changed my routine, and I'll explain it when I go through it. I've changed my Google Calendar multiple times. I've had it analysed, and it's like, remember Isaac saying to me, like, what the fuck is that at first? And I was like, things aren't getting done. And he's like, I don't know why. He's like, that is why. And then since then, that's completely changed my thought process to sort of routine and routine adjustment. And a lot of people can get quite fixated on their routine, and if they're asked to change it, they're like, whoa, I can't do that, I've never done that. And it's like, I've changed my routine multiple times, and even more so since being here, just to find that sweet spot with the time difference and work. So I'm going to go through that today in terms of giving you the best tips possible to plan your routine, to build that structure into your life, and why it's so important, and why it's so important for me as a business owner to have that structure in place, and why you need it more than anything. Because when I didn't have it in place, things weren't getting done. Things were getting missed, and I'd question and I'd go, why aren't they getting done? Why are they getting missed? And that was why. Because there was no structure, there was no clarity around what's getting done and when, and I wasn't constantly reviewing it week by week to see what's gone well, what's not gone well, and what's coming up. Because the same thing doesn't happen every single week. You might have a social event one week, you might have a social event, you might not have one the next week. That means your schedule's going to change a touch. That means you need to move things around a touch. So I'll be going through that in the video in terms of exactly what I do in my routine, with my training, with my work, and how I structure it, and some tips and best advice that I found to now find my best routine. So, hydration. First, we start a day. In this, one of the best tips I can say is, if you always forget to take your creatine and you forget to take your electrolytes, make them the night before, put them in a bottle in the fridge, just take it out in the morning, it's already done. So in the morning, we've got electrolytes. These are so important. Since coming here, I found that, as grim as it is, the piss says I'm very dehydrated. So I've been trying to master how much hydration I actually need. I have one of these in the morning, and then I usually have about 7 litres of water throughout the day, and that does the trick. But previously, it's ridiculous how much the heat makes a difference. Obviously it makes a difference, but I didn't realise how much it would make a difference. Electrolytes, non-negotiable. Glutamine, creatine, 5 grams of both, and then some zinc for my stomach, omega-3s for overall health, and a bit of vitamin B complex as well. So, drink electrolytes, that's about 750 millilitres of water. Drink the remaining of that water, which will be about a litre of water. And then, the best part of the morning, obviously, coffee. Have a coffee. And then I'm going to take you through some little bits which I'm focusing on at the start. So one thing I've also been doing, just why I'm here, and it's my morning task, is to get my meals out of the freezer. Okay? You might be thinking like, what? You like freeze your meals? Like, no. So basically what I do is, it has changed the game for me since being here. Like when I was at home, I never used to meal prep. I was just like, I'll just prep it on the day. It's like, it's easy. But then I realised since coming here, how much time I must have wasted doing that. So what I do is instead, on a Tuesday evening, I will go to the shop and get my food shop for the week in terms of my meats, okay? So then, what I do is, if you can see here, so you see, it's on that just because it doesn't get wet, but they're frozen now. So, obviously they're frozen just in the freezer. So what I'll do with that is, every single morning, I'll take those out, and I don't have those meals until the afternoon. So if I just leave them out now, they're going to defrost, and then all I simply do is just make the carbs. So I'll just make the rice for both of them. I just have rice for both of them because it just heats them back up a little bit. I'll cook the rice on the pan, and then at the end I will just pour that meat in and it'll warm it all up and it'll be superb. And I actually think it tastes a little bit nicer when it's frozen. I don't know why. Maybe it's like the flavours just like stay intact. But highly recommend, if you're struggling to prep, just prep your meat, divide the portions up how much you need, freeze it into individual portions, and job's good. That's just a chili, and that is just chicken covered in Nando's sauce. So simples. So two big things which I'm really big on for 2025, and I've set myself is wrong one, is writing every day, reading every day. So what we can see in this one here, this is like part of my morning routine. This is what I'll do. I'll have my coffee, my water, and I'll sit here and I'll do this first thing. So what I'll do is get a little book like that, okay? You can get them from Amazon, Asda, whatever. And I'm literally on the first page, just write something daily. And one of the goals was 1 week off 3/4. Just think the two things I mentioned. Every Saturday off, as I mentioned. So it's just like basic goals in terms of personal ones, but there is some business ones in there which, at the end of the year, if I achieve them, maybe we'll share them. But as you can see, I'm just going through the days, pages, and just like, right, what's gone well? Not what's gone well, sorry. In terms of like how I'm feeling in the morning, what I've got on today, and then just some things like I'm grateful for, because I've been having a lot of conversation with guys on the team, and the main thing is like they all want to be a bit more present, and they always want to be in a bit more of like the now, because we're always thinking about like, I'll be happy when, or like, when am I not in the right position, or am I not in the right place? It's like, why are they further ahead? Why am I so far behind? And we can constantly just be unhappy with the position we're in now, when in reality is the only position you can control is the now. So there's no point stressing about the future. There's no point stressing about past mistakes. Yes, you can think about past mistakes and act on them for the future, but you can't control, how can I say it? You can only control the now. So you shouldn't stress about past mistakes, you can only learn from them, and you shouldn't stress about the future when things haven't happened yet. Yes, you can influence it, but you will never truly know the outcome of the future. So it's just a byproduct. It's like putting in the hard work, you should get a reward, you know? So I just write things down here like what I'm grateful for, notes for the day, how I'm feeling, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You don't need to write like pages upon pages. It's like just little bits and bobs, and that'll be absolutely fine. As I say, what I've got on today, how I'm feeling, and what I'm grateful for. So grateful just brings me, what I've got on just allows me to think, right, okay, what have I actually got on today? How I'm feeling just this morning in terms of mentally, how I'm thinking, that kind of thing. And then what I'm grateful for, just to bring me back to the now in terms of like, grateful for this. So, write this. Now, Saturday mornings usually consist of a slow morning when I'm off. So, I don't set an alarm, you know what I mean? I set an alarm for here's a story about the alarms. I've managed to get up at 5 3 times this week. The other 2, I had to peel myself out of bed. I couldn't get up. I don't know what it is. But we'll try and get that 5 nailed down this week when we're back into a routine again. But yeah, Saturday morning is always slow. I always like to not set an alarm, wake up whenever I wake up, and then have a coffee in the morning, do this, read, and then just ease into the day. But obviously I've got calls, so I've got calls that start at 11, so I've got to be a bit more quick with my day. And then we're going to train about, when does the calls finish? I don't know. I think the calls finish at 4, so I've got calls from 11 till 4, back to back. And then I've got a chess session, which I might record. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to write this, going to read, going to drink some water, and then I'm going to do some bits on the computer, and then I'll run through the calendar in terms of how I structure things. It's time to talk about my routine and how to structure your routine. So one thing which I do is utilize Google Calendar, and that pretty much acts as like my personal assistant. Okay, everything is in there. Now when we think about execution of a week, everyone just thinks like, oh yeah, all right, okay, I know when I'm working and that's it. And it's like, that's, if you want to keep missing the mark, keep having no calendar and no structure and not know what's going on. You see, when you plan everything like your work, shit gets done. Your training gets done, your cardio gets done, your meals get prepped. You know when you're doing your social events, you know when you are, you know how your schedule looks, you know to say yes to things and no to things. It's like, too many people are just going through a week and just, in a sense, just coasting through a week and just not knowing what they're doing and when. And then we're like, oh, I missed sessions, I missed cardio, I didn't prep my meals. It's like, put it in your calendar. Give yourself an appointment with yourself in terms of your downtime, your morning routine, etc. So, if we actually go through my week, on a Sunday, I will spend 1 hour looking through my week. What's coming up? What have I got on? Where's my downtime? Where are my important tasks? Is there anything outstanding from last week? What didn't work with the routine? Do I need to adjust anything with the routine? Is there anything I need to book in this week? Is there any meals out, social events, etc. that I need to plan for? Not just saying yes to things, because if you say yes to something, it means you're saying no to something else. So before I make any decisions and I say anything, I always look at my calendar on a Sunday. I know what I'm doing and when. On my calendar, everything is structured in terms of blocks, what I'm doing and when, and it's all time constrained. So my average day in terms of timings looks the exact same. I would show you my calendar now. So that is my calendar. There's no point me showing you it in terms of like what I'm doing and when. But my days pretty much look the exact same in terms of structure. So I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. And then I used to train in the morning, but now I switched it to jumping straight head first into the hardest task and the priority task of that day. That's just fine. It works better for me. I'm a person who works much more effectively in the morning. So I put my hardest task first. First thing when I wake up, dive straight into that head first. I'll usually run on that task until about 5:30 until about 11 o'clock.
Then I'll have a break, a meal, and then I will come to the gym for around about 12 o'clock. I'll train and spend what I need to do in the gym, roughly around about 12 to around about 1:30. Then I will come into the cafe in the gym and do my afternoon tasks, roughly around about 2 till 7. And then if I have any calls, I will take them from 7 till 9. And then 9 till 11-ish, I will switch off. And those days repeat every single time. So usually it goes 5 o'clock wake, 6 till 11 on the hardest task first, 12 till 1:30 in the gym. And if I'm not training, I'll do some running. 2 till 7, I will do some lighter tasks. And then 7 till 9, I will take calls. If I don't have any, I'll finish a bit earlier. If I do have them, it's 7 till 9 o'clock on calls. And then I will just chill out and wind down and turn my phone off at 9 o'clock, and that's me until 5 o'clock the next day. Saturday, what I've introduced now is completely a day off. So last year, I didn't have any days off. I did have some days off, but like in terms of like actually structuring myself to have days off, I didn't have it. So every single Saturday, I do absolutely nothing. Well, I'm doing some things this week because I've got team one-to-one calls, but every single Saturday going forward, I'm not going to train. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to go in socials. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to give myself that one day off every single week. So I will not touch my phone on a Saturday going forwards, because last year, it was like, I love what I do and I could work on it 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But the input massively reduces and I reached burnout a couple of times last year, and it's not fun. It's not a fun place to be. So every single week, that weekly switch off allows me to then push for a solid 6 days following that. So I don't have a problem. I work Sundays. I do some work on Sundays. I don't have a problem with that. I take a lot of calls on Sundays because I know it aligns a bit better with the UK, and I can open up that full day for calls, whether that be clients, or whether that be consultation calls about guys joining the program. But that's pretty much how I structure my week first. So hardest task out the way first. I can't recommend that enough. Whether that's training, if you can't, obviously if you work for yourself, then obviously get it out of the way. But if you don't, and the best way to do it, and what I did in the UK was hardest task first, get up, train, and that'll set you up nicely for the day. And then that gives you your evening free. Like, yes, it may suck if you wake up in the morning and you have to train and it's cold and it's snowing, obviously, but it's really, really hard, and you'll feel 100 times better for getting that out the way first, and that gives you your evening free. Now, yes, you may be tired in the morning, yes, it may be hard to wake up sometimes, but think about your evening and think about performance. If you're trying to push yourself in the gym and trying to build as much muscle as possible, when are you going to perform better? In the morning, after you've woke up, when your head is clear, or after a full day at work and a full day of stress? In the morning always. If you want to maximize your performance, I would always recommend you train in the morning. Okay? So if you have any questions when it comes to routine and routine building in that document below, then fire them over and I'll be happy to help. But again, find what works for you. You don't have to listen to my routine and follow what I do. You have to find a routine which works for you and constantly adjust it to make sure the execution is high, things aren't getting missed, and you're really, really organized. Don't be walking around life being a yes man. I did that last year and it got me in a shit spot in terms of unorganization and just no structure. So learn from your mistakes, constantly review your calendar, and become a master of controlling your own time around your schedule, and you'll feel 100 times better and you'll achieve better results than you've ever seen before, because your execution of life will be so much higher. So let's stop coasting and let's start executing to a higher standard that matches our goals. If you're trying to build a calendar now and trying to build your routine, what I want you to factor into is your wake time, if you're training in the morning or not, your work time, okay? Are you working at home? Are you in the office? Like, what time are you committing to work? What time are you training? When's your downtime? When's your meal prep? When's your social events? And that way you can start to create clarity on your week, because you know on a Sunday you can spend half an hour to 1 hour looking at your week. When am I training? Are there any changes to my schedule? You know, are there any social events coming up that I need to shift around? Is there any work commitments that I need to shift around? Is there anything else in terms of family and friends and that kind of thing? And that way, every single week, you can look at your week, you know what you're doing, you know when you're doing it. That means you can execute the week to the highest possible standard, and nothing is getting missed. So there's no excuse for I missed my cardio. There's no excuse for I missed a training session. There's no excuse for I missed my meals and didn't prep them. Because if you make these appointments with yourself and plan them in, then there's no margin for error at all right? And again, when you make a routine, don't marry it. Don't be like, if I could count how many times my routines have actually changed until this point, I can't even count. It's changed loads, and it's constantly reviewing, because if you just do a calendar and you don't stick to it, or things are getting missed, something's wrong with the calendar, something's wrong with your routine. So I can't stress enough in 2025 that you get really structured and really clear on where your time is going, because I hear a lot about, I don't have time. You do have time, you just don't know how to structure it, and you don't have clarity over where your time is going. You know, if we look at our screen time and it's 5, 6, 7 hours, you do have time, it's just getting wasted in the wrong areas. So when we think about, oh, I'm not seeing results, or I'm not hitting my training, I'm missing sessions, I'm missing cardio, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, you do have time. It's time we started getting structured with these things and improve the execution of our life overall. But I guarantee, if you get a Google Calendar and you start to put things in, your level of execution and your stress will reduce, because shit is getting done. You'll feel organized, you'll feel structured, you know where your time is, you know where your downtime is, and you'll start to really take control of your life and your time as well. To access this document where I use every single week to get structured on my week, that saves me 5 to 10 hours every single week and allows me to stay structured, reduce that stress, and knows what I'm doing and when, I'll leave it in the description. The link will be there. Use it yourself, apply it to yourself, and if you have any questions, just feel free to message me over on Instagram. But yeah, get structured with your week. It's super, super important, and I can't stress it enough, because it's not good enough if you want to achieve results in terms of, especially with physique and training sessions and organisation of your week and not knowing what you're doing and when. Life's busy, and life feels really busier if you actually don't know where your time is going. So, and the next one, I'm going to run through a full day of eating and what I'm eating currently to try and stay lean year round, but obviously with the goals of building muscle, Hyrox, and half marathon in mind. So yeah, I love a challenge, clearly. This year's about challenge. I'm not going to just build muscle. And building muscle is the priority always, but I'm going to be pushing myself like I know pushed it before. Hyrox, half marathon in 4 weeks, tick that off. Then we'll do the Hyrox in April, and then we'll do a full marathon, and then we'll see where life takes us after there. Maybe just going to spend some time, probably just focused on building muscle and give my body some chance to chill out. So yeah, that'll be the next one. As always, any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed this one and found it useful. Any questions with the routine, then please do fire them over. But I'll see you in the next one.